Hello everybody, welcome to the Ziver Organics YouTube channel. My name is Tunayone and I am the founder of the natural skincare line called Business Natural Ziver Organics. This is the part two of the video I posted last week. If you haven't watched it, you can watch it at the link down below. So this week we're going to talk about what are the regulations and I know the boring side of establishing a business, new skincare business, and what are the regulations, especially if you are based in the UK and or in Europe. What are the regulations you have to be really aware of before you're selling your products, before even you start formulating your products. So before we start, I just want to say I'm going to recommend some of the links, and I'm not affiliated by any of them. This is just through my own research and advice for you to do your own due diligence. Right. So what do you need from the regulatory point of view to sell your products legally here in the UK and in Europe? First of all, you need to register your business. That's the first thing. So you need to go to, if you're based in UK, you need to go to Gov.uk website and apply to register to become a valid business. I will put the link down below for how to register for a new business. And what do you need to register for business? First of all, you need an address on the location of the country that you're applying. So, apart from valid address, you will need obviously your business name and who will be the owner of this business. So they will need to see who has 100% of the shares of this limited company. Since you are setting a limited company, you will issue shares and there will be who will have the most ownership of these shares. And that's very important, and you will declare that. They will also need to see your ID, if you are the 100% owners of this business, and another valid residential or wherever your personal address or private residential address is. So last part of the registering your business, you will need your SICC code here in the UK. So what is the SICC code? It's basically, it defines your business activity. What category of business are you doing? So when you make your application, they will look at your application and say, okay, this is your main business activity. So if you want to set up your new skincare business, the SICC code is 47750. So I put all the links down below so you can go and check it out. Okay, so now we're moving the more regulatory side of things. So what do you need to, like, for example, what do you need if you're making your own cosmetics and want to sell? Well, the first and important thing here in the UK and Europe, you will need a cosmetic product safety report. Basically, it's called safety assessment. So if you're selling any cosmetics, you need this assessment, and it's EU-wide and also here in the UK. Even though it's Brexit, after the Brexit, this still a regulatory need. So what is this CSPR? Basically, it just tells that your cosmetics are safe and it has been tested via a lab, and then you can now safely sell your cosmetics to your customers. Okay, so even if in a situation where, say, something happens to you with your customer and your customer saying like, I'm not happy, if your customer ever complains that it damages their skin or something kind of health problem, you can say that your product is lab tested and is safe to use. So they can't really, you're basically you can prove that you're selling legal cosmetics. You're not just doing a kitchen made random cosmetics basically. Okay, so what is CSPR and how do you get it? First of all, you need to find the lab who actually does this. Here in the UK, there are a couple of labs, and I have put them down below, and I'm not affiliated with them. This is through my own correspondence with them and my experience of using them. They will ask you, depending on your product, what they will need from you. If your product contains water or any kind of water-based complex formulation, you will need to send them your sample. If your product does not contain any water, for example, you're doing a lot of like balms, like just like oil-based or wax-based, so you will not need to send them the sample. However, in the report, you still need to give them a lot of information. So what is the required information for this report? When you get in touch with these laboratories, they will ask you, depending on the lab, they will give you a template, or they will give you some kind of form. You fill out the form, you put your formulation in it, and then you will say who's your supplier, where did you get them from, and if you're using any kind of flavoring, fragrances, or any kind of perfumery, you have to give them the IFRA report, which is basically an allergens report. And it just, if the fragrance you're using is permitted to use in the category of the product you're using. For example, you can't use air fragrance in the lip balms, or you can't use air fragrance on face, basically. So this is very important. Once you provide all the information to the laboratory, they will check especially your formulations. One of the most important things you need to supply when you are giving the lab formulations needs to be 100%. If it's not 100%, they will not accept your formulation. So that's one of the things that you have to be really careful. You have to check your formulation, and everything needs to the total needs to up to 100%. Another thing that you have to be careful is that you need to be checking your essential oils, or whatever the fragrances are using, are within the limited, like dermal limits, what they call the dermal limits. For example, ylang ylang essential oil, you can't use it on the face or on the lips, so you have to be careful with that. Or you can't use about the phototoxic essential oils like lime, lemon, sweet orange, or these things like this. So that you just have to make sure the dermal limits you're using these are within the dermal limits. Okay, and the last thing is they will ask you maybe a stability testing. What is the stability testing? So in the stability testing, you are being asked to do 4 tests. Okay, what are these tests? So it depends. You don't have to do all these 4 tests. You can only do 1 test, minimum 1 test. So when it comes to it, they will ask you first a shelf life. So if you're saying that you have a 30-month shelf life, you have to say that you've tested your products in 30 months at room temperature. So that's a really long one. So it depends. If you've been testing for 30 months, you can tick that. Second one is a freeze test. So you have to freeze your product and at -5 degrees or 0 degrees. Then after that you have to do a 20 degrees room temperature followed by 20 degrees room temperature test. So this is for checking that if your product is stable, obviously, and if you're seeing any cracking, or if you see any oil separation or anything like that, basically, which is really good. And last one, not the last one, and the other one is accelerated temperature test, which is basically you're raising the temperature to 37 or even higher degrees, and you're keeping it there for 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. So you have to observe your product under the heat, how it behaves. And the last one is the centrifuge test. So if you have a centrifuging machine, you need to put your product into this machine and turn it like at 3,000 rounds per minute RPM, and then you have to do that for like 20 minutes to see. I don't have a centrifuge machine, and I don't have the patience to stay 30 months, so I did the freeze test. Okay, so and then you provide all these details along with your formulation, your supply information, and all this IFRA, like for your allergens, for perfumes, and other necessary ingredients like perfumery ingredients, and you just send them all this information. So what the lab does, they review your tests, review it, and they come back to you with saying, can you please, we reviewed it, it's okay, all good, you pass your test, and then they will issue your report. Okay, so once you have your report, you're good to go. You can sell your product happily to say you're safe, you're already have a good report, and you can also sell this not only in UK, but you can also sell this in Europe. It depends on the laboratory. Some laboratories, maybe because of Brexit, are now doing Europe only, but here in the UK there are a couple of laboratories that does two both the UK, they cover both the UK and the Europe, basically. Anyway, so this is what you need before you actually start your full business, because this is the registered and the boring side. And if you have made it up to this far, congratulations. And if you have more questions about cosmetic safety assessment or any other setting up business, in the comments down below, and I will come back to you. And you can also check my website, ziverorganics.com. We are really in the process of launching new products, and we will announce them some on our Instagram, so go and follow us on the Instagram as well. Hope you're having a great weekend, and wishing you a great new week. All the best. Take care. Bye.